Hello, good morning, and happy Wednesday, everyone. My name is Justin Nimergood. I am your host of the Real Estate Rockstars podcast. I am so thrilled for the guests that we have with us this week. Just an absolute outstanding individual that is, a true salesman through and through, Mr. Joe Owens. A little bit about Joe before we welcome him into the show officially. Uh, he recently wrote a new book called "In the Rockstar Real Estate Agent," where he takes as a longtime music industry insider turned top producing real estate professional. He shares lessons that he learned from decades spent behind the scenes with some of the biggest names in rock. Watching legends like Bowie and Springsteen go from local acts to global icons taught him a powerful truth. Success doesn't come from chasing every trend, it comes from knowing who you are, owning your sound, and serving your audience better than anyone else. And it turns out the same principle applies to real estate. How fitting that we have the author of the real estate in the Rockstar Real Estate Agent, Joe Owens, on here today with us. Joe, welcome to the show.
Morning, Justin. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Joe. I'm doing well. So, I think the first question I have really, for our discussion today is where did you come up with the title for the book? I mean, I'm assuming from some of your personal experiences, but was there was there like a moment? Was there something that just kind of hit you like a lightning bolt?
I think we hear the word rock star used a lot. The
Mhm.
rock star bus driver and the rock star school teacher and the rock star HR person and, that kind of stuff. And I think people equate rock star with glamour and glitz and being fantastic and super duper and all that. The reality is that rock stars work their butts off. It's
Mhm.
really hard work. And it's very sort of much like real estate agents. It's very so massive rejection that you can have if it doesn't work is terrible. So the time in the rock business, watching artists and you could see the ones that were going to work and the ones that weren't. They find a niche, they perfect it, they lock in on it, and then they bring those fans along with them and they grow that audience. People know what they want to get and they come to them for that. And so I saw that with successful real estate agents that, the ones who had the beachfront property, the one who did the mid-century
Mhm.
modern, the ones who did the luxury only, they developed a reputation, and then that reputation did the selling for them. It did the lead generation for them. So they attracted business. So when I came up with this, I thought, a real rock star real estate agent is the one who understands that find your lane, stay in it, leverage it, and business will come to you, and you're not going to be lead generating for 20 years.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up because I see that a lot. I'm sure you saw that a ton. Obviously, come to these sorts of epiphanies, if you will, and it just seems like I'll say most, honestly, most of the industry, most of the agents in the industry are constantly chasing business, and there's a whole nother side of the ball game, like you said, that you can actually attract it and attract it in loads that you can't even begin to think you can handle. So I'm just curious, in your experience, do you have like maybe a story to share about it, either an agent or even yourself, right? And kind of when that turning point was when you were able to really scale the business to the next level.
I think one of the best, actually, one of the best examples uh, is the young lady that wrote Oh, Angela, and on Amazon. You actually don't have to buy the book; you get the sample, and you can read her forward. But she specializes in mid-century modern. Those beautiful ranch houses built in the 50s and
Mhm.
60s, and all about the architecture, all about the time. And she started out in the traditional agent mode of call everybody that you know and make 100 phone calls a day and ask what that just, and so she moved on and said, look, I'm going to specialize in this particular jam. And so she literally took tours, people on tours of mid-century homes in other countries. You know, they all get on the airplane and go to France or something. So she created a business where now she has more incoming business than she can handle. And now for, I guess, the better part of about 12 years, extremely well. My thing was money. I realized I specialized in financial something. And so that attracted clients from me who were interested in that piece. And they wanted, you know, what about the knowledge, what will appreciate it better. And I tell them straight up, I don't know what your kitchen lap is, but you know, money. And it actually got to the point where there'd be a blip in the stock market, and they'd call me and say, "What about my portfolio?" I go, "No, I'm not a financial advisor, but I can tell you how the blip will affect your house." So whatever it is, you need to specialize in something. There's a joke that surgeons' kids go to Harvard and general practitioners' kids go to State. And we live in a world now of specialists. Used to be you went to the doctor no matter what was wrong with you. Now you go to the doctor. He says, well, you've got an oncologist for this, and you've got a throat guy for that, and a back guy for that, and a stomach guy for that.
All right, we're picking back up, folks. So I'm curious, as someone that was in the industry, I'm sure you did. How many transactions did you keep count of? How many transactions you did in your career?
I did a couple hundred, because and it's funny when I have this conversation with people who have sold in like LA and places like that. When I say, well, I did about 50 million in transactions that I actually contracted, but then I also did probably another 10, 15 million at least that I referred out. I love referring out business. It is my favorite thing. You know, you get a commission check and you make one phone call. But
people don't realize that the power of leverage.
The best business in the world. I mean, geez, you know, hey, I got a guy who wants to buy a house. Give him a call. You know, and by the way, send me 25% of the commission. But when I was doing this work, it was 2011, 12, you know, kind of there. So I sold $50 million worth of real estate when houses were selling for $250,000. Houses which are now selling for $750,000, like the same house. So it was more transactions, you know, generating less revenue, but I had a lot of churn.
Well said. I'm curious, as someone that spent some decent time in the industry. What do you see, especially in modern times, let's just call it, like, you know, present day? What do you see as the current and forthcoming largest challenges facing the real estate industry?
So the thing for me with the industry is I watch other industries and trends and seeing what's going on. And there is an absolute blueprint for the real estate business that happened in the late 90s, mid to late 90s. And it was the travel agent business. And travel agents, technology put travel agents out of business in like an afternoon. Right. I mean, it was terrifying because travel agents were the ones with the IATA license. So they were the only ones that could buy an airplane ticket for you. And they traveled around to see all the hotels and you know, take pictures of them so they could tell you what they were like. And they had personal experience as to who's the best concierge and what's the nicest restaurant down the street from that nice hotel in Greece. Then the internet came along. And all of a sudden, all of that information, all those pictures, all those restaurants, everything else like that became available. And who were the only travel agents that survived? The ones with a niche. Disney, football, stadiums, baseball stadiums, Alaska, Paris, whatever. Every every travel agent that pivoted and said, I specialize in this. I know more about this than anybody else you're going to talk to. They're thriving. They're doing great. And we find ourselves in the same situation, especially since the pressure is now on agents to validate their worth. Because now you have to, once upon a time, you got a buyer agent commission simply for showing up. But now you have to convince them that you're worth it.
And constant negotiation battle
it's
now.
Constant negotiation. But simply being there and being a placeholder is not going to get you paid. So you really have to be able to articulate your value. I know more about mid-century modern. I know everything about the horror of buying a house at the beach. You cannot work in Raleigh, North Carolina and represent somebody to buy a house in Atlantic Beach. You can't, because you don't know the community. You don't know what happens in a hurricane. You don't know what the tides look like. You don't know what the EPA regulations are. And it terrifies me to watch agents take on things they know nothing about. It doesn't help the client, and it puts them at risk, not only their real estate license with the commission, but in litigation. It's crazy. And even when you dumb it down, there was a young kid that had only been in business for 3 or 4 months, and he was all excited because he had a quote unquote luxury client, which in Raleigh at that point was $1.5 million client. But when houses are selling for $250, 1.5 is good. And I said, he was so excited. He had the meeting coming up. I said, that's fantastic. I said, hey, listen, by the way, what are the appliance brands you're going to run into in the kitchen? And he went,
huh? Right?
I said, dude, have you ever heard of a Viking stove? You ever heard of a Wolf stove? Ever heard of a Sub-Zero fridge? You're going to be Googling things in real time just to keep up. Go find yourself a luxury agent, partner the deal with them, split the commission, and everybody wins, including the customer, because you can't go around underserving a customer and expecting to build a reputation for quality. So I've seen this movie before with travel agents, and it's why I'm sort of railing against agents now, saying, for God's sake. And, our pal Ryan Serhant, first page of the book, when you go niche, you become the expert. When you're the expert, you get hired.
Well said. And he, by the way, love Ryan. Met him actually at an event about 6 months ago. Awesome guy.
Smart guy.
Yeah, smart, sharp, like sharp as a tack, right?
Gary Keller, same thing. You can't be everything to everybody. You have to be everything to one person. You have to be the dead-on expert for what they want to do, because they don't want a jack of all trades. They want a master of one. And if you do that, you get business. The business comes to you. Hey, Justin's the guy who does the best job in luxury homes, because you get it. You get it. You may not be able to sell land, and so don't try. And agents that say, well, I can do anything. No, you can't.
No. That's the death trap right there.
Really. And because of the industry now, because we have to prove our value, and because people are so litigious now, you can get yourself in big trouble. You can lose your life. North Carolina Real Estate Commission are monsters. You can lose your license for looking in the wrong direction. So I think if I'm counseling agents now, which I do every now and again, it's like, look, you have to have a specialty. You have to be as good at it as it can be, because that will protect you, and it will also help you articulate your value really clearly. I've sold more of this. I know more about this. I went to every home inspection for every property I ever sold. Every single one. I never missed one.
Wow.
Because I knew everything about those houses in and out, and I learned tons about it. So I think these days, especially with gigantic lawsuits and all those kind of things, we really have to know our stuff to be able to prove our value. Otherwise, why hire you?
Why? Well said. And I'll add one thing to what you just said, which is, because I know for me, in breaking through the $1 million, market, right? It's a process. And I would say it is a process, right? You can't skip steps, as I like to say.
Absolutely.
You have to be willing to roll up your sleeves and do some of the, dirtier, more challenging deals that are not for very expensive homes. You got to do that a while, get your as get your teeth punched in a couple times,
Yeah.
maybe a couple bloody noses, from some wayward transactions. But it's all part of the process, right? You can't skip those steps, though. You can't just go straight to the top. That's not how. I don't think it's not just a real estate thing. I think that's in almost any industry for that matter.
Well, Justin, I think it would serve real estate agents well to realize that they are in the business world the same as people who sell pharmaceuticals, the same as people who run financial companies. You need to conduct yourself in a professional manner. You need to be on the top of your game. I mean, and a lot of agents fake it. A lot of agents are floaters, and it's okay. I mean, if you don't really have set your sights on anything, and you just want to have a license and be able to do a transaction here and there, and make some beer money, but you try that on Wall Street, and you know what I mean. And the problem is that it's okay for you, but it's not okay for the people you're representing, and you have a fiduciary obligation to people. And that's where it comes back and bites you. You do something wrong, people lose money, they'll take you to court. I mean, you worked in California, you know how ridiculously litigious it is out there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and they'll take you to court for anything, basically. So you got to be real careful about that. But it goes back to your point. You got to know your niche. You got to know your lane. And if you want to, by the way, you want to grow into a new lane or a new niche, that's fine. I mean, I think that's great that people want to do. I've done that myself in my career. But again, don't skip steps. Make sure you go through the proper processes. And partner, you mentioned that earlier, Joe, and I really want our listeners to tune into that advice. The partnership aspect of this business is so important. So important.
Yeah, I mean, I had a guy up in Raleigh. I had a guy at the beach. And anytime any of my clients in Raleigh wanted to buy a house at the beach, he was my guy. And anytime he had any people from the beach wanted to move to Raleigh, I was his guy. And we did stuff all the time together. And the problem, I think, is this, and I'm a statistics geek. On average, statistically, everybody knows 6 real estate agents. And the problem is that they all look alike. And if you want to validate that, all you need to do is go look at all their social media feeds, and all the social media feeds look alike. Just listed, just sold, under contract, the same. It all looks the same, and there's no differentiation. I want to be the guy who everybody knows 5 real estate agents, and me, the financial guy. Or Angela wants to be everybody knows 5 real estate agents and the mid-century modern specialist. You have to do something to stand out. And doing video tours of new construction on a skateboard is not standing out.
Exactly.
Concrete is too tiring, and having the 35th iteration of running after somebody in a parking lot going, I'm a real estate agent. I often wonder, when I do stuff at brokerages, I always ask them, do me a favor, like first thing, if you want to be an internet influencer, put your hand up. Okay, great. If you want to be a real estate agent, put your hand up, because you need to pick one. What people want from your social media feed is valuable quality information that helps them with their real estate sale or purchase. They don't want to see you doing something cute on TikTok. Sorry.
Especially, I agree with you 150%. Especially the older the baby boomers, and some of the older generations, they don't give a shit about social media.
I couldn't care less. And I talk to, and it's funny because I am a boomer, and so I talk to people, and like younger age, they go, "Okay, boomer." I'm like, dude, trust me when I tell you, I've done $50 million, $60 million worth of real estate. You can't sell a fire extinguisher to somebody that's on fire because you're not telling them about the value of the fire extinguisher. You're dressing up in a fireman outfit and climbing up and down a ladder. Ha ha ha. Like, I get it. There's a percentage of your social media feed that is branding. So identify what element of your personality you want to sell. Are you funny? Are you clever? Are you smart? Are whatever, and make that. But Coca-Cola, when they do marketing, they have a percentage of their marketing that's branding. They have a percentage of their marketing that's sales driven.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking for retail turns. So you need that delicate balance with your social media and unique selling proposition of, I'm going to brand myself over here so people know that I'm clever, I'm smart, I'm a mid-century, or I'm a land or horse farm or whatever. I'm the expert there. So I establish my brand. But then over here, I got to do retail turns. Here's how you sell your house. This is what's important about mortgages. Give them valuable content, because they get all the clever, fun stuff that they need. They don't need that from you. You brand yourself, do retail turn stuff, sit down and do a real marketing plan, just like the big guys do. And because look at any of them. Look at Ryan Serhant, we just talked about. Everything's not funny and cute with him. He's giving you valuable information if you're a buyer or seller. You got to do that.
He knows how to present it in a really effective way that's engaging.
Absolutely.
But that doesn't diminish the value of the content that he's putting out there. So
look, you have to eat your Brussels sprouts. Sorry. They're good for you. Mom said so.
Very good for you. Very good for you. All right. Well, we're gonna shift gears a bit here. We're gonna head into the final section of our time together today. I'm gonna ask you a couple zingers. Cool. As we talked about on the pre-show. So here's the first one. Let's say, Joe, it's your 80th birthday. Who's there around with you? What's going on? What exactly is being celebrated? I mean, I know it's your birthday, but paint us that picture of your 80th birthday.
The terrifying thing is it's not that far away. And assuming that I make the trip, and thank you for that, I think anybody, no matter who they are, you want a life well lived. That's the most important thing. It's not important how many houses you sold. It's not important how much money you made. It's not important. Those things are not important. Have you been the person that you wanted to be? Have you accomplished the things in your life that make you happy? I mean, for example, I spend way more time now writing books and working with film producers and helping them raise money for movies. But when I get to the end, three things: have I been a good dad? Have I looked after my guy? And is he okay? And have I put him in a place where he's going to be able to get along without me? Have I left some kind of footprint that's worthwhile? Have I lived my life well enough that I've made some kind of contribution to society? I write books like this for that. This new book is for that. This new book is trying to help some people. So have I helped some people to do things? And I think the last thing for me is when I'm laying there breathing my last, I'm going to wish that I really had that time back that I spent on hold for tech support. That's really what I'm really going to be. If I aggregate all that, it would have been about 3 years, that I was on the phone with Microsoft trying to get my computer working again. I just think you get to that place where, have I made a contribution? Have I helped people? Have I achieved what I was gunning for? And is it a life well lived?
Well said.
That to me, if Angelina Jolie happens to show up, that would be okay too.
Oh, this guy. By the way, Joe's extremely funny, y'all. If you get a chance to talk with him, you'll definitely have plenty of laughs. You kind of answered, or you kind of gave us maybe a preview for the next question, believe it or not. And I know this was totally unintended on your part, but so the next question is this. So let's imagine it's your last day on Earth. You can only preserve 3 items in your time capsule. What are those items and why? And they don't have to be physical necessarily. It could be other things too. But
that's a really, really good question. I bought myself my last birthday. I bought myself a birthday present. And when I was 13 years old, my parents gave me a Smith Corona typewriter. Smith Corona Royal typewriter, because they knew that I wanted to be a writer. And that was what was going to happen when I got out of college. I was going to write books. But I bought myself I went on eBay and I found the exact typewriter that they gave me.
Oh, wow.
That was great. And so I bought that typewriter again. I think that there would be, and I'm thinking like a pharaoh now, right? Like, what are the things that I'm going to need in the afterlife?
Exactly.
A decent deodorant. But I think the typewriter is representative of that aspect of my life that is important to me. The second thing is my dad's watch.
Oh.
My dad had a Hamilton wristwatch that he wore. He was in the First Armored Division of the Second World War, and he was in a tank that went through the whole D-Day and rolling into Berlin and the Battle of the Bulge and stuff like that. And he left me this wristwatch that he wore during all of that. And so that's a power amulet for me. So anytime I'd go to a meeting or anything like that I needed to sort of have that thing, I'd wear the watch. And it would.
I was just going to ask you, do you actually wear it or not? I think
absolutely. Yeah. No, I had and it's all busted up and everything, but I never fixed it up. It's the way it was. But I would wear his watch, and it would give me that extra oomph. So I think, that representative again of my dad, of everything that he sort of imbued in me, and that I hoped I kind of pass along to my kid. And you can bet my kid will get that watch. That'll be something that'll be special for him.
Nice.
And I think and so there's the writing part, and there's the sort of who I am part.
And it can be anything. You can be like way out of the box with this.
Yeah, no, I'm very much a why did I say this word? Anyway, I overthink things. But there's one other sort of amulet that I have, one other sort of magical thing, and it's a gift that I gave my mom, which is a Tiffany Elsa Peretti crucifix.
Oh, wow.
And I gave that to her. She wore it for years, and when she passed, I got that. And same thing, that they're power things, and they're not just things. Like, I'm not going to take my iPhone. I'm okay without that. But that sort of last day, the things that are going to matter to me are the things that help me be the creative side of me, the thing that gives me courage, because it's what my dad did, and my mom was an enormous influence on my life, of everything from writing to how I dealt with people to how I understood the world. And so those are the kind of things that would mean a lot to me. Stuff that sort of lineage passes down from the the previous generation and really meant something to me. Because other stuff is just stuff. And
Right.
I watch people that buy a lot of stuff, and many of them, I realize that they have a big hole in them for some reason, and they try to fill it with stuff. And you can never fill that hole inside with boats and jet skis. Sorry. You're going to have to fill it with something that has a little bit more value and a little bit more meaning. So the stuff that brings along all of that stuff that made me me, I think that would be the stuff that I'd be looking at.
Those are all great answers, by the way, and I love that you use.
Is there a prize? Do I win something?
Oh yeah. We'll share that with the guests.
What's your book? I want the prize to be a copy of your book.
Copy of my book. No. So that brings us to the final question for today.
Yep.
And this is actually kind of a layup compared to the last two. But what is your definition of a real estate rock star?
So my definition of a real estate rock star is someone who absolutely, positively, in any circumstance, whenever, wherever, however, puts the client first. Period. Nothing else. That the client is absolutely, and whether you like them, whether you hate them, whether you're buying, it doesn't make any difference. If you're not doing every single thing that you are doing in that transaction for the value and betterment and success and everything else of your client, there is no way that you're a real estate rock star. And here's why I say that. There is nothing more important to a rock star than their fans. Absolutely nothing more important than their fans. They will not do things. They will be so careful how they treat their fans. They won't do things or say things. Every time they make an album, they think about, how can I take my music slightly to the next level without doing something that they're not going to like? And there are examples of it. When U2 did Zeropa, and their fans went, wait, what's this? And you only get one shot at that. You can torpedo yourself. Or when somebody, for some unexplained reason, decided that Steve Tyler from Aerosmith should rap. But when Rush did New World Man, that was a real departure from what they had been doing, and they agonized over that as to whether or not should we do something that's a little more world music-y. So if you talk to any rock star and ask them, what is the most important thing to you, you'll hear about it. And when you go through the book, there's a quote from Mick Jagger that says, if you take care of your fans, they'll stay with you. There's a quote from Steve Tyler from Aerosmith that says, if you don't think your fans are the ones that got you here, you haven't been paying attention. And there's a great, if you read Bruce Springsteen's biography, there's a great thing from Springsteen that said, when after the River tour, he felt he lacked purpose, and he said, I'm making albums and I'm selling records and I'm having concerts successful and all that, but I don't think I'm connecting with my fans at a level that I want to. And so what he came to understand was he was writing a lot of stuff about blue collar, and what it came down to is he was writing sort of the distance between the American experience and the American dream. And he said that's, there's a gap there. And so his music was addressing that for his fans. But rock stars care about their fans. And if you want to be a rockstar real estate agent, you must only care about your client. Anything else is details. That's all that matters. Real rockstar real estate agents only care about their clients.
Well said. Wow. Y'all, I hope you were taking feverish notes today, because Joe just put on a master class for everyone today.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
We are so grateful to have had you on the show today, Joe. We'll have to have you on again in the future. Just as we leave, or before we leave today, can you share with the listeners, the subscribers out there, where and how they can connect with you?
I've got a website, which is joeowensbooks.com. And on that website is email address, joeowensbooks@gmail.com. Feel free, send me an email. I'll answer them. Happy to sort of interact with folks and talk about what's up. I virtually never answer my telephone, so it's if you find a phone number, don't waste your time. But I'm eager. I work a lot with young agents and people who want to pivot or change what they're doing, and I love doing that. I don't have any sort of official consulting or coaching or anything like that. It's not my jam, but I love hearing from people and sort of answering questions. And look, the stuff that you're doing is really important, because information's power. And if people can just learn about what other people are doing successfully, and you're willing to be that conduit, it's extremely valuable. So you should be proud of what you're up to, and the people who check in on the podcast are getting for free what other people are trying to charge you money for. Well,
I really do appreciate you saying that, and I'm humbled and honored to share the stage with you here today, Joe. For all our listeners out there, make sure you pick up a copy of Joe's book, The Rockstar Real Estate Agent. We'll also put the description and the links and whatnot that he mentioned will be in the show notes below. So take a look at that. Like I said, pick up your copy. If you're a real estate professional, this is a book and a must read. There you have it, folks. Another wonderful episode of the Real Estate Rockstars. I am your host, Justin Nimergood, here with Joe Owens. We are signing off. Have a good one, everyone.
Thanks, Justin.
And there we go.